Magandang araw mga kababayan. Once again, welcome to our channel. Now for this video, I will be discussing the different pathways that we have considered para makapunta ng Canada. Now I will be discussing the reasons bakit namin napili itong pathway na to na pwede mo ring i-consider para makapunta ka o ang pamilya mo ng Canada. But before that, once again, just a disclaimer, hindi po kami professional immigration consultant. This is all based on naging research and personal experience namin in doing our own application. And please do consider subscribing to our channel para updated ka sa mga susunod na video and for us to reach more Canada dreamers like us. Now honestly, wala naman talaga kaming balak mag-abroad initially kasi wala kaming idea paano mag-apply, saan bansa mag-apply and whatnot. And ayaw naming isipin na iiwan namin yung mga bata just for the sake na makapagtrabaho kami sa ibang bansa. Not until this pandemic kung saan napanood namin accidentally sa YouTube na Canada would want to welcome more immigrants or actually in need of foreign nationals or immigrants to fulfill the gap on their population, especially on their employment sector. Kung saan pwede mo ring isama ang pamilya mo. Now, first pathway na nakakuha ng atensyon namin is really the AIPP or the so-called Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. This is a provincial level and a employer-driven program, specifically in Atlantic region. With a very minimal requirement, pwede kang mag-apply even na nasa Pilipinas ka. And once na-hire ka ng isa sa designated employer sa Atlantic region, pwede kang makapunta ng Canada and even kasama ang pamilya mo. Unfortunately, hindi pala ganun kadali matanggap, especially kung hindi skilled yung work mo. We tried to apply for several months through Indeed or Job Bank, pero no luck, hindi kami nakakuha ng designated employer na mag-hire sa amin. Also, we have considered doing the work permit with LMIA. Ito yung pwede kang mag-apply as a temporary foreign worker kung saan kailangan mo maghanap ng employer sa Canada with the Labor Market Impact Assessment or positive LMIA na magsusupport ng application mo papuntang Canada. Unfortunately, on our end, hindi rin ganun kadali maghanap ng employer and most na nakita namin kailangan mong mag-hire ng agency na kailangan mong magbayad and which walang assurance na mahahanapan ka rin nila o kailan ka nila mahahanapan ng employer. Also, we have cited yung pinakakilalang pathway which is the federal level or the express entry in which kung magkukwalify ka based sa credentials mo, given na mataas yung CRS score na makukuha mo or yung comprehensive ranking system criteria. Unfortunately, after calculating yung pwedeng maging score namin, based on our credential and sa work experience namin, medyo mababa yung score namin. So most likely, mababa yung chance para ma-invite kami for Federal Express entry. Now, after doing some research and comparing pretty much all the possible pathways, we landed on this so-called student pathway. Now, although magastos since kailangan mong magbayad ng tuition at mag-aral sa Canada, compared sa ibang pathway, ito yung nakitaan namin ng highest hope na ma-approve kami at makakapunta kami agad ng Canada. At hindi nga kami nagkamali, ito yung pinakamabilis na way para sa amin na makapunta ng Canada dahil na-receive namin ang visa approval in just 41 days after lodging or submitting our application as a family. Now, that's the major reason bakit kinonsider namin tong pathway na to dahil madadala mo yung pamilya mo. You can have the student as the main applicant and then as a dependent, you can have the spouse or the CLP for open work permit and also the kids as SP minors or temporary resident visa holder. And I should say, ito talaga yung naging deciding factor namin to take the student pathway dahil kasama namin yung mga bata at may experience namin yung Canada ng sama-sama. Another reason, of course, since this is going to be a student pathway, you will not be needing a job offer in order for you to get approved. Also, on our end, hindi rin namin kinailangang mag-IELTS since yung school na napili namin is not requiring IELTS. Instead, nagpasa lang kami ng English as a medium of instruction certificate. And with that, nakasave na rin kami ng oras dahil hindi namin na kailangan mag-review for IELTS and also we have saved money since it will cost you around 11,000 for you to take the IELTS. Another reason is that the open work permit holder or the spouse can actually work full-time or kahit ilang trabaho na kakayanin ni OWP, pwedeng magtrabaho in order for us to save na rin at masustain yung buhay and tuition sa Canada. And unlike sa closed work permit with LMIA or yung temporary foreign worker that they can only work for a particular company sa Canada, with this open work permit for the spouse, you can actually work kahit saang field, kahit anong company at kahit ilang oras yung kakayanin mong magtrabaho. Along with that, pwede ring magtrabaho part-time si student or the main applicant. Since mag-aaral siya, allowed siyang magtrabaho for 20 hours per week as a standard. And during school breaks, allowed yung student na mag-work more than 20 hours per week. In which magiging malaking tulong din ito para sa panggastos or even pangbayad ng tuition mo. Another factor na kinonsider namin sa pathway na to is makakapag-aral yung mga anak namin sa Canada. And yes, free education for your kids simula kinder hanggang senior high school. Now, pwede nyo enroll yung kids nyo sa pinakamalapit na school kung saan kayo titira. Bawat school may boundaries kung saan kayo mapapabilang, doon nyo pwedeng i-enroll yung mga anak nyo. And lastly, and isa sa pinaka-importanting reason why we did the student pathway is for us to have the PGWP or the Post-Graduation Work Permit after mag-aral ni student. Now, most of us kaya gusto pumunta ng Canada, aside sa reason na kumita at ma-experience yung buhay ng Canada, is for us to be a permanent resident later on. And having PGWP will allow us to gain sufficient Canadian work experience, which is necessary for us to work out our permanent residency pathway later on. Now, PGWP can be applied after the completion ng program ni student. Along with that, may extend ang visa ng dependent na spouse and the kids. Same na extension validity na makukuha na PGWP ni student. Now, take note, yung PGWP na igagrant sa atin will depend on the program na mapipili natin or kukunin natin. For example, the certificate or one-year program will give us 1-year PGWP, and also the 2-year program or more will give us 3 years PGWP. And again, mas mahabang PGWP, mas maraming chance for us to gain sufficient Canadian work experience for us to work out our PR pathway later on. Now, if you want to know more about the student pathway or for you to have an idea how we did the student visa application, we have also created a separate video that would be the step-by-step DIY or do-it-yourself student visa application for Canada. And once again, just to share our timeline, February 2022, we applied for a letter of acceptance from NBCC. June 2022, we have received a letter of acceptance or LOA. August 19, we did the upfront medical para sa aming 5. And on September 8, we have finally lodged our application. On September 9, we have received the biometrics request. And on September 14, nag-medical pass na kami sa GCK. September 15, nagpa-biometrics kami and nag-reflect din siya sa GCK on the same day. On September 22, reviewing eligibility na ang status namin sa GCK. And finally, October 19, we have received our visa approval para sa aming 5. And yes, sa mga patuloy na nangangarap, laban lang po kabayan. Kung ano man pathway sa tingin nyo mag-work sa inyo, ituloy nyo lang. Kailangan lang natin gawin yung part natin and ika nga, God will do the rest. And once again, gusto kong magpasalamat sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa journey namin ito. And kung bago ka sa channel namin, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button. This will be a great help for us as well. Hanggang dito na lang, hanggang sa muli. Thank you for watching!